Okay, about this class, a teacher. So I am Frank. Okay, I'm Frank Zhao. So I've been teaching in the TCF for almost like 3 years. I'm a software developer for more than 20 years. Okay, and Larry Zhao is my son. He's currently a high school student in Green Hope High. He has been learning the STEM 3D printing, video editing, like start from like almost 2 years ago. Okay, so I think he's pretty qualified. So has more hands-on experience than me. So, okay, our class will be every Sunday, 7:30 to 8:50. Okay, and if you miss any class, that don't worry. So we will record every class. Okay, so what we will learn. So the first month, so our class will totally have a 12 class. So the first 4 weeks will be a computer-aided design. So it's mainly targeted for the 3D printing. So we will learn how to design 3D shapes, and then each student may get a chance to print out your work. Okay, if your work is in good quality and printable, okay, that's the condition. So if your work is really not high quality and also not printable, so we can do it because there's a limitations there. So make sure but if you follow the class, so you definitely can get your design printed, okay? And then the next 4 months we'll learn some video shooting and editing. So because this is quite useful. If you go to high school, there will be some video projects as your homework in either your like a social study class, sometimes even world history, sometimes even the Chinese class. I know for the Enlong, they actually assign pretty much quite a few video projects. So make sure, so they will allow you to like shoot short videos to make some story in the history or some scenes. So this is very good skills. So you get to learn how to shoot videos, and also after you shooting it, you also how to edit it to make the video looks more professional. So we will learn that on the second sessions of this class. So, and in the end, we will learn some web design, because yeah, this is also very useful skills for you, because you want to present your work, and also you want to present yourself to build up your own like a profile. So this is a good place. So there are some free online website that can host your website. So you can build a website for yourself, or also can for your school, like a club. If you have any school clubs, you can build a website, help promoting the club. So as you can see, actually each of them, the contents, the CAD, the video shooting, editing, web design, can actually take a semester long to learn, okay? But we just compact them to one class. So that means, so this class is very fast paced. So you got to definitely need to spend a little extra time. I would say at least 1 hour after the class, okay? Because otherwise, in the class, we wouldn't be able to cover everything. So you definitely need to spend a little bit extra time. We know you are busy, so some school homework, so we're not going to assign a lot of homeworks, but at least, so you better spend an hour for every week. But I'm just assure you, so all those projects are fun. So, and also when you finish, you can get quite satisfied. So show your parents or show your friends. It's very good, okay?
So what is 3D printing? Okay, so I guess you guys like already know most of this, but basically it's where a 3D object is made from a computer-aided design or a CAD model from a 3D digital model. So basically it does this by adding material layer by layer on like the surface. So what is additive manufacturing? So basically it means layer by layer printing, basically. So instead of normally taking like a cube and taking away material to form the ball, it takes like these layer by layer and builds it up to make this fall. So what you basically want to take away is that it adds instead of taking away, and it basically uses these. There's a lot of different types of these things. So
yeah, let's pause a little bit because we have a new student joining. Hello, hi Mandy. Hello. So Mandy, can you hear us? All right, let's just continue.
Okay. So the benefits of additive manufacturing. So basically it uses less power because instead of drilling, you're just like printing and heating things up. It reduces material costs by up to 96% because instead of like producing all of this waste from like drilling and like removing material, you just literally only use what you need and produce like nothing.
All right, so any question? Is this so far too fast or what? Anyone? So because I do need you to understand, I don't want this too overwhelming. So basically traditionally, so the manufacturing is cutting off stuff. So you usually have a raw material, you have to cut off like by drilling holes, cutting off something, and you can get it X parts. But 3D printing is totally the reverse part, okay? It's actually you start from actually nothing, and then you add material. Usually it's very tiny bit, little by little, just like, think about it, just like you glue the sands together to build a tower or something like that. So you always add materials to it. So usually there's very little waste of materials. So, okay, so that's what's called 3D printing. All right, let's continue.
So basically, the bad parts about 3D printing is that it's a lot slower. So like printing a big thing will be like take like probably a day then. And so that makes it really bad for large objects. And it also cannot use certain materials for like for example, steel or like harder metals, which like would require like really high temperatures to use. Basically, but it still is a lot better than subtractive because it's cheaper, more efficient, and flexible. But however, subtractive has the advantage of being able to use more materials and being a lot faster. So 3D printing is basically a process where you take this model and then you slice it into like really thin layers so that the machine knows where to put them. And the machine prints the layers really thinly onto and eventually completing it into a complete part. So fused deposition modeling, or FDM. You don't really need to know about this part, but just remember it's basically a type of thing where you take this filament and you heat it up. The filament is this plastic, like sort of like you can think of it as like ammunition for the 3D printer. So it just feeds it in, it heats it up, and it places down layer by layer. So this head part moves on a X, Y, Z axis. So basically it uses this to tell like where it is and where to go. And that's about it. So this is going to be a quick time lapse of Eiffel Tower being printed. So you can see that it's being printed layer by layer up. And since the legs aren't hollow, like it puts the X's there to save material. And basically it moves up layer by layer until it finally is completed.
Any question? I'm going to ask
we learn how to make a flower?
No, we probably won't be able to learn how to make something that complex, but if you want to make a Eiffel Tower, you can probably access a library. Like Onshape has this part where you can look for things, or you can just search up Eiffel Tower 3D printing, and you might be able to find a file of someone who already made one. Okay, so design limitation. So this one's kind of like self-explanatory, I would say. Basically, since filament, it gets heated up, right? So it takes time to cool down and harden. And like that basically means you can't just like print sideways all of a sudden, because then it would just like sort of limp down. So for example, printing this probably wouldn't work out that well. This would still kind of work, but it wouldn't be as clean as you would want it to be. So it ends up being like this, and you do not want this on your finished product. Okay. So basically, to counteract this, you can do things more like this and like have it stabilized on both sides. However, this still has a limitation, as in you can't really do it from that far because it will end up bending. So there's this thing like it automatically adds like structures for you, which will support it. But I'm not really going over it in the slides. Okay, so Onshape, this is the software that we will be using. It's not really a software though, because it's browser-based, but basically it's free and that's why we're using it. And it's also pretty powerful, honestly. So let's create an Onshape account, okay? So I will put this link into the chat. And you guys can all go towards it and follow the instructions to make an account. Actually, I'll just walk it with you, okay? So we go to this link. We end up on a thing like this, okay? You can either select education or makers. The professional one will cost money, so yeah. So I'm just gonna choose for makers for now. And then get started. And it's gonna make you fill out this thing. I'll say Larry, and last name Zhao. On and on, Larry Zhao 1, 2, 3. This describes you, hobbyist, checking this box, blah blah blah. Get started. Oh shit, I already made an account, but like you get the process. Okay. So just type something in the chat when you're done.
Do they need any confirmation email?
I don't think they should. I mean, you can set it if you want, but I'm gonna show you guys how to change it later. So let's create a document, okay? So you should see a big blue create button in the top left corner. And select document, okay? Just set default units if you want to. Okay, so you can name the document whatever you want. And you can't really create a private document because that's the paid version. If you create a public document, people can see it, but it doesn't really matter because they don't really know who you are and stuff, and they can't change yours. And the end result should be this thing. Yes, whatever you want, because we're going to change it later. But I suggest something in the metric system because inches is kind of hard to estimate. Okay, next. So our first thing is going to be a business card sort of thing. So it's going to look, we're going to create something like this. We're going to have this like object sort of card thing. And then we're going to put some text on it and some random shapes, okay? It doesn't matter if you're a minor. you can just, we're gonna change it to a name card anyways, okay? But for demonstration purposes, I made a business card. Okay, so. Let's say class 1, create. Okay, so first of all, let's go over the process of making a 3D shape, okay? So basically how it works is, first of all, you're going to draw a 2D object, 2D shape on a plane. And then, like, it can be like circles or random shape, like an L. And then you're going to extrude the shape. And basically you're like, imagine pulling it out of a dimension. And it's going to turn it into a 3D object. And once you make a 3D object, you can choose to add more features on it by sketching things on the plane of the object. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that later. And you can turn the object into something more advanced, like a gear or something with screw holes and stuff like that. Okay, so looking at this, you guys should have something that looks like, actually like this. Okay, so planes and the origin. So these are the planes. There's the top plane, there's the front plane, there's the right plane. These are basically your X, Y, and Z axes, okay? And in order to move around like I am, like this, you just right click and drag. And then if you want to reset your view, you can go back to here and click isometric or dimetric or trimetric. To select an item, you can just click on it and it'll get highlighted in yellow. And if you select multiple items at once, there's going to be this number next to your mouse cursor, which shows you how many items you've selected. To deselect, you can simply press spacebar, escape, or click into a white space. There's also this thing where like you can press your mouse wheel down to sort of move your where you're seeing, and you can zoom in by using the mouse wheel. It'll zoom in where your mouse is located. So if I have like my cursor over here and zoom in, it's going to zoom towards the cursor. If I have it on this point right here, it's going to zoom towards it. Okay, so this point is called the origin. So it's the center of your entire thing. So like if you see the front plane, it's in the middle. Go to the top plane, it's in the middle, okay? So, and there's also this cube up here, which is basically what you, like, view, basically where you're looking at. You can also use this cube to sort of like move around and stuff. Like you can also right click around on it. You can move the cube itself around. And there's also this part of it, which is basically where you're seeing. So like zoom to fit, isometric view, which we just went over. Okay, does anyone have any questions on that? Basically, basic moving around and looking around.
Yeah, I put all the basic moving commands on the chat window.
Basically selecting, deselecting, whatever this is, going back to normal view, and there's also moving this around and zooming in and out. Oh yeah, about the units. So click on this 3-bar part that says document menu. Okay. And then click on workspace units. Okay. And when you click on that, you'll have this bar show up. And basically, when you click this check mark, it's going to basically take all your things and apply them. X will sort of, like deselect it, close it. You can change it to whatever you want, millimeter, inch, foot, whatever. Normally we keep it on millimeter because that's the most precise unit we have and most commonly used. There's all degrees and radians and stuff. Okay, so any questions? I think that's a no. So we are going to start out with this sketch feature in this top left corner. This is going to allow us to draw and sort of start our process of making a 3D object. Also, just a side note, if you don't know what any of these features do, if you just hold on them and like not move your mouse, just hover, eventually a description will pop up and you can sort of read on how to use it and what it does. Okay, so click on the sketch feature and you'll find this window pop up saying like sketch 1. You can name whatever you want, but most importantly, see this blue box here? So it wants, when you ever see something blue, it usually means that it wants you to select something. Okay, so here it says select a sketch plane. So basically it wants us to basically have, think of it as a table or something, basically something to draw on. We are going to select the top plane. Basically, we're going to sketch something on the ground. Okay, you can click on the top of the cube, or you can click on zoom to fit to sort of get this view, which is 2D and a lot easier to comprehend. So has everyone reached this stage? Okay. And from here, we are going to, okay, let's go back to this part. So we are going to make this business card, right? So these are the dimensions. I'm going to make it a bit thicker than 2 millimeters because I think that's too thin. So a width of 86 and a height of 54. Okay. So let's go to this top part. You can see all the tools and stuff. We're going to select on this rectangle drop down and click on center point rectangle. Okay. And then from here, we are going to start from the origin because we want our rectangle to be centered, right? And then just drag it however you want. Okay, we have a rectangle. And now if you don't click on anything after like drawing it, you can see this part, which allows you to sort of set a dimension or how long you want it to be. I want it to be 84, so 86, so 86. Just click it on your keyboard and it'll pop up and press enter. And now we can see this dimension tool and our rectangle pops into shape. And then next I want a dimension of 54. So I'm just gonna press 5 and 4 on keyboard to type 54. And then press enter and it pops into shape. Has everyone gotten that? To turn it into millimeters, just simply select this triple rectangle thing. It says document menu and click on workspace units. And you can adjust from there. Okay, so you may have, Steven, what's up the question marks? Are you confused by anything or do you have a question? Oh, okay, so making the rectangle, okay? Okay, I'll just redo it, okay? Yeah. Okay, so starting from the top, okay? So first of all, click on the sketch button right here in the top left corner. And from there, we're going to select a sketch plane. And we are going to choose the top plane. Okay. And from there, you can right click and press zoom to fit. Actually, sorry, wrong thing. Just click on the topless cube. Okay. And from here, we are going to select this rectangle part, select the drop down part, and click on center point rectangle. So what this means is that it's going to draw a rectangle by, like, instead of, for example, having 2 points of like 2 corners, we're going to have the center and 1 corner. So first, we're going to click for where we want the center. I'm going to put it in the origin because that's where the center is. So click on the origin and drag out, and you can see that a rectangle forms, okay? And from there, we can just click anywhere else. And don't click on anything after that. Just type 86 and press enter, and type 56 and 54, I think it was, and press enter. And now we have a rectangle.
So any question here? So this is our very first shapes. So we're creating. So we would like to start slow, make sure everyone know how to get a rectangle and put dimension on it.
So are you unable to get the rectangle to size? Okay. So let me teach you about the dimension tool, okay? You see this sort of thingy in the center between these 2 bars that has like a line, arrows, and another line. So click on this. And so this dimension tool is going to be one of the most important tools we'll be using in this class, okay? Because it allows you to set dimensions of pretty much any object. So if you notice right now, these lines are blue. So when it's blue, it means that it's unrestrained or unconstrained, which means that you can like move them around and stuff. Like this. And so we are going to use the dimension tool and constrain them. So click on the dimension tool and select one side, and then select the other side. This is going to basically adjust the width of the rectangle. Okay. We are going to, let's make it, what was the dimension again? 86. Okay, so let's type 86 in there and press enter. And now the rectangle snaps to shape, okay? And if you notice here that the sides that we have constrained have turned black. So what this means is that we can't move them around anymore, okay? Like, see, I can't really drag it anywhere. Okay, and then now we're going to do the same thing, but for the other side. Okay, I want to put it over here. And we're going to do a dimension of 56, and then press enter. And now we have a rectangle that has been snapped to size. To escape the dimension tool, you can just simply right click and press escape dimension, or you can press escape. You can't even draw the rectangle. So are you having trouble finding the rectangle tool, or are you just like not clicking? Let me finish this. So she did not select a sketch plane for her sketch. So the program doesn't know what surface she wants to start drawing on. So when you want to draw something, you need to select a plane to draw it on. In this case, we want to draw it on the top plane, but you can also like draw it on the right plane or the front plane. So I'm going to draw it on the front plane to demonstrate. So just simply select the plane, and it creates this, sketch 2 big rectangle here. And from there, you can just draw whatever you want, okay? Got that? Okay, so continuing on, dimension tool. Okay, so let me delete this. We have a center point rectangle, right? And now we want to constrain it because blue is not working out for us. Right, since blue is here, we can just like, it's free to do whatever it wants, so we don't know the size. So we are going to use this dimension tool. You can also just access it by pressing D. So we're going to click on this and select two sides, which will basically give us the width of the diamond of the rectangle. And from there, we can decide to change the width. Okay. I'm pretty sure the dimension was something like 86, so just type that in and press enter. Okay, has everyone done that? All right. Now let's go to the next side. Select them both. Oh, Steven. What's wrong? You already managed to make it 3D? Okay, good for you. We'll go over that later. So select here. Wait, but is it the right dimensions though? Anyways, just click 56, press enter, and now we have a fully constrained rectangle. So you see these lines are black, right? When the lines are black, that means you can't move them or like really do much to them, okay? Okay, so now we are going to do what Steven has done, which is make the object 3D. This is the exciting part, okay? But Steven has already done it, so too bad. We are going to go up here and press the extrude button, okay? This is just the dragging out part. And now you can see this sort of transparent part. This is how big it would be normally. And now we can change the depth here. You see here, the depth. And we're going to select set it to 3, okay? Now we have the stem base that we can use for our business card or our name card. So what's your questions? Because I know it's bound to be some is confused. The dimensions are 86 by 56, and 84 by 56. I got it wrong. But 84 by 56. And the height is 3 millimeters.
So Steven, can you share your screen?
All right. So now we are going to add some features to this base, okay? You can see my screen, right? Okay. So we are going to click on sketch once again, click on sketch. And this time, instead of selecting the top plane here, we are going to select the top part of this object, okay? So we're going to start drawing on top of this object. See, if you look from the side, you'll see that the plane that we are drawing on is above is on top of the object, okay? So has everyone made a sketch plane on top of the object? Okay. So from now on, we are going to click on this text feature or this A, okay? So Steven, just create a sketch and then click on the top of the box. Also, if you want to move around, you can just right click, hold and drag around. And if on the case that it's like this, or like it's out of view, you can just click, hold down your mouse scroll wheel and like drag around again. You can also zoom in and out through using the scroll wheel. So I'm going to go over creating a sketch on top of it right now. So watch carefully. Click here on the sketch button. So in this case, it's going to be like this or something. And then click on top of this feature, on top of this part or base that we've made, object. And boom, simple as that, we can now have a sketch plane on top of it. Okay, you good? I'll take that as a yes. Okay, so back to the text feature. Okay, up here you'll see an A. I'm going to click on that. And let's say I want mine to be around here. So I'm going to click here and drag it to, let's say, here. Doesn't really matter because it's just gonna like fit your thing. And from here, I'm going to type, let's say I want it's gonna be a name card, right? So Larry. Okay, now I'm gonna click on this big check mark and boom, now I have a text. Okay, Stephen, what are you confused on? You don't really need to pull the name out. Oh, for a name, we can just sort of like, you can drag it around and you can also use the dimension tool to set the size. Oops. So drag it around. And you can also use the dimension tool to sort of set the size. So let's say I want mine to be 60 millimeters wide. And boom. And it kind of adjusts the thing for itself. So does everyone have a name on an object? Okay. If you want to center it, you can just use the dimension tool. So in this case, mine is 70 millimeters long, okay? And we know that the width from here to here is 84 millimeters. And what's 84 minus 70? It's 14, right? And then that divided by 2 is 7. So if we select set, download it when you put screenshots like that. So for now, I just ignore that. My dad's pulling it up. So we click on the edge of the original object. Okay. So
Okay.
this edge and then this edge of this object. And now we click and want it to be centered. And now the object is centered. Why are you so obsessed with Sussy Baka? Whatever. So does everyone have their name centered? I'll assume so. Okay. Yay, we have a name. Now we're going to put the name onto this object, engrave it into the object, okay? So press this extrude button, and we are going to, we already selected for us, but we want to select our second sketch. And instead of selecting, so if you look on the side here, on the drop, on the, I'm just going to call it the box. You can see we have multiple different options. Okay, we have new, we have add, we have remove, and we have intersect. Each of these does a different thing. Add adds the adds a thing to the object, new creates a new object, and remove things from an object. Intersect basically does the same thing, but yeah. So we want to remove, and then for the depth, we want to make it 2 millimeters. That way it doesn't penetrate the entire thing, but it still goes down a bit. And then we're going to click the arrow. And now our text has been sort of engraved into our object. Has everyone gotten that?
So any questions? So our time is almost up. So we for the first class, we would like to just stop here and make sure everyone catch up. So what do you click after you change the depth? Okay, can you just
Okay, so just click on the big green arrow. Okay, so it's going to be like this, right? You change the depth to 2 millimeters, right? And then now all I have to do is click on this big blue checkbox, which means you've edited everything and you want it to be activated. So boom, and now you have it engraved. Oh yeah, also, really important side note here, so pay attention. If you look to the left, you'll kind of see this bar, this menu, which basically has like all of the features and things that you've made. And if you want to edit one of these features, like for example, I want to change this text, add some stuff to the second text, to the text area, just right click it. So sketch 2 is where my name is at. So you right click it and then select edit. This will bring you back to this menu where you can edit everything. And so let's say I want to add a circle, okay? I make a circle. I want to be 15%. Okay, so now I have a circle here. And I could just simply select the check mark, and basically I'll go through the extrude while keeping in mind that I've now added a circle to it. No, there's a big green checkbox, not an arrow. The arrow lets you adjust the depth. So let's right click on the extrude here and press edit. So you see there's this arrow here, right? This basically allows you to change the depth of your sort of thing. Okay, but over here you can also adjust the depth too. So I want it to be 2 millimeters. So just press 2 and enter. And then checkbox. Any questions? Because we are running out of time. We took way too long to create the accounts.
Okay, so I think that's all for today's class. We're going to teach for the part we haven't teach all the part we plan to teach today, but I would like Larry to make a video as a homework to catch up with what we missed today, but that's fine because for the first class, we really want to go slow and let everyone know, get you familiar with Onshape and especially the basic operations. So we're going to release the homework. It's basically the homework is very simple. You just follow the video tutorial to keep working on this. And yeah, make sure you just play with it. Yeah, spend some time, okay? And we're also going to release today's class video also, but together with our homework. So you will get 2 videos, okay?
So when you're done with the homework, you should end up with this finished product here. This
yes. Okay.
Name card, weird shapes, and yeah.
All right. So if you have questions, you can ask us or go back and after we release the video, just take a look at the video. And for the video, the good thing is you can pause it anytime and then follow it step by step strictly. And that means you should 99% of the time you should always get used to. All right. Okay. I think that's all for today's class. Okay. Thank you, everyone. The homework is definitely will last than an hour. Okay. It's probably 30 minutes.
Yeah,
All right.
this is still like basic,
Mm.
relatively easy stuff.
Okay. All right. Don't worry about that. Okay. Everyone did a good job today. Okay. So yeah, we'll see you next week. All right. Good night. Okay. Bye.
Bye. See you.